We're back with the Minister of Local Government, the Honourable Desmond McKenzie. Sir, picking up on the point before the break, how will the parish councils be directly involved in this process? Because we know that the parish council, especially in the city area, is responsible for cleanup. How will they directly be involved in this project?
Well, the parish councils are actually an integral part of it. We are working, the ministry is working directly with the parish councils. The parish councils have identified many of the areas for cleaning. The parish council will have its own share of responsibility because the parish council's role has always been a continuous role. As you rightly said, they have the responsibility for cleaning up drains, minor drains. They have responsibility to do certain things, and those responsibilities will not be taken away. It's a total involvement of all the stakeholders, the National Works Agency, everybody. So this is not a role for just the parish council. This is a collective role for all the agencies that I've just outlined. But we will ensure that at the end of the exercise, that we put the parish councils in a position that they will be able to maintain on an ongoing basis, working with the National Solid Waste Management Authority to ensure that we don't lose the gains that we are going to be making over the next couple of days.
Okay. So you said earlier that, persons have already said, how will this be maintained or how long will it last? But is there any plans in place where you'll have educational programs and initiatives that will continue to educate our citizens? Because we know that that's where it starts from. People's responsibility.
Well, let me just touch people's responsibility first, because the success of this program is predicated on the participation of the people. Without their response to the program will not be a success. No, they have a vital role to play because they have to ensure that their participation is not going to cost them anything. All that it is going to require of them is to take out what they have, regardless of what it is they have. Put it out, we're going to come, we're going to get it. But I must say to them that it can't be after we're gone. You put it out and you complain. So it is going to be over the period that we have announced. Their involvement, as I said, is to cooperate, is to get the information. They can call the parish council, they can call the SDC, they can call the National Solid Waste Management Authority to get it out there. And we've been saying to them, get it out there. The question of public education is important. We have been using public media, social media, as a means of educating the various communities, not just here in St. James, but right across the country. And the program of public education is going to last for about 3 months, sensitizing the public. So even if we are not in a particular parish on any given week, that program of public education will still go on, and the Ministry of Local Government is going to make it its responsibility, along with the Ministry of Health, that we continue to drive the educational drive. We're going to be going into the schools. We're going to be using the community-based organization, and I want to use the opportunity to commend the SDC for the work that they have been doing on the ground, because the SDC is a critical part of the Ministry of Local Government, that they have far-reaching impact into the various communities, and they have been doing a good job on the ground here in St. James. And we're going to be using the SDC as a part of spreading that message. The Ministry of Health also has an ongoing educational program. So we're going to be using leaflets, we're going to be using whatever means of public education that is there to say to Jamaicans that, look, if your surroundings are clean, free of the areas that will contribute to the breeding of mosquitoes, to the infestation of rodents, etc. We're going to be saying that to them, because at the end of the day, a clean society, a clean country will strengthen our capacity to grow as a country.
All right, great. So zoning in a little bit more on the point of people's responsibility. I know that there has been existing laws in relation to littering and keeping the society and the environment clean. So is there any plans in the ministry that will deal with enforcing this law against persons who have been continuously littering environments? Would you look at the municipal police and getting this up and running?
Well, first of all, there are existing laws on the book that deals with littering. If you ask me if those laws are
Enforced.
no, well, I don't want to go to the enforcement, but if you ask me if the laws that exist is a deterrent to littering, I will tell you no. The fines are not anything that anybody would lose a second contemplating. What I can say though is that the legal team within the Ministry of Local Government has presented to me recommendations for consideration in increasing the penalties for littering. And we're going to be looking at that. Enforcement is a key. And although the fines are limited, if we had enforcement, so if we're in a position where you take 50, 20 persons before the courts, and they still pay the meager fine, it would be sending a signal, but we're not enforcing. Last week, Friday, some 33 municipal police officers graduated from the National Police Training College, and those 30 municipal police officers will go into the mainstream. There were some from St. James. So we're going to be strengthening that arm, the enforcement arm, and we're also going to be looking at the question of ensuring that the laws are there and that the laws are respected. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. I would rather we get people complying more than we have to enforce the law. So we are hoping, and this is going to be a partnership. We can talk to the communities, we can say to them, look, this is why it is important that you comply. When a man stays in a bus and throw out an orange juice box and whatever, if you can't find him, you need to punish the driver, because it is the driver's responsibility to know that his vehicle is not used as a means of being untidy across the country. So there are things that we need to look at, but the country, the people of Jamaica has a civic responsibility, not just to the country but to themselves, to ensure that the surroundings are kept clean.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for that. In Montego Bay in particular, we have a few gullies. And one of the things that I've seen the parish council try to do is to ensure that these gullies are clean, but yet the people still go ahead and to get the gully messy. Will there be plans in place to actually get nets or at the end of the gullies that will collect this garbage? Because it goes into the ocean and it causes our environmental degradation. It's a tough one.
It's not just a tough one, but it also again speaks to people's pride. You understand me? While I will admit that the collection of garbage is not at the limit that it ought to be, the frequency, that still is not an excuse for what is happening. So to solve all of our problems, we have to have the regulations, we have to have the laws, we have to have the penalties that an individual is going to feel it in their pockets whenever that is done. But we will do everything to ensure that we clean the gullies, and we can only beseech, we can only beg, we can only insist that people respect what we are doing and understand. You had some flooding here a couple of weeks ago. That the contributing factor of that flooding was because of how people dispose of their waste.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. So we go for our second break, second and final break on One Love TV. We'll be right back.